And take it away, Santa True.
Hello, everyone. It's time for another CPW Innovator Interview. And we have the amazing Parker Wright, who is going to be joining us. He's got more things going on than any human being should be allowed to have. And he works here in Southern California. And when I say our mutual clients are very demanding, I ain't joking.
Yep.
It is challenging to work in our market. So, first of all, Parker, we have some traditions that we do here in CPW.
Yeah.
So, we'll go ahead and start with that. Today's goofy hat is a nail binding Viking hat that I am now taking off. Right, and everybody got a chance to see it. Good. All right, and ooh, hair. All right, let's try that again. So, everybody, if you can see me, if you can hear me, get ready. Here we go. I say Merry, you say Christmas. Merry,
Christmas,
Christmas.
Merry.
Christmas.
Christmas,
I say jingle, you say bells. Jingle,
Bells.
bells,
Bell,
jingle.
Bells.
bell.
There you go. There you go. Good job. All right. So, we always start off with our credos off the top. And so the first one is ABH. Who can tell me what ABH stands for?
Always be humble.
Always be humble. Excellent. Yeah, remember, folks, at the end of the day, we leave this art form anonymous and better than we found it. That's the goal. Secondly, which Parker will tell you that's unusual compared to what we do in Hollywood, because usually it's
Right.
completely the opposite.
Yep.
So ABH, always be humble. ABL, who can tell me what ABL stands for?
Always be learning.
Always be learning. Absolutely. If you figure our journey is, 700 days spaced out over 20 years, we always want to be learning. We want to be trying something new on the last day we ever perform.
hmm
So, ABL, always be learning. Okay. NBC, who can tell me what NBC stands for?
never break character.
Never break character. And so, if they can see you, if they can hear you, if you're standing backstage and the kids can kind of see you, you're in character. And what does that mean? Always give your character something to do, even if it's just key gestures, brushing your beard, you know, checking your imaginary list, whatever it is, but always give your character something to do, always be in character. Also, that's also a reminder when it's as our seasonal celebrity superpowers start coming upon us, now is not the time to be flipping people off on the freeway. Okay? When you look like this, maybe not so much. All right. And so that is NBC, never break character. And you don't have to be in character when you're down in your green room unless you want to be. But save that energy. And then
hmm
finally, we did
Always check your microphone.
always check. Oh, yes. And always turn off your microphone when you head into if you're wearing a wireless mic, always turn that mic off before you head down into the bathroom. Okay. Always a good, because nobody needs to hear that. All right. And then last but not least, great performers do what?
Practice and perform throughout the year.
Practice and perform throughout the year. You're not going to be a great performer if you just pick it up in November. We have to be practicing, and that means getting training both inside the Christmas community and outside the Christmas community. So get out and get those improv classes, get out and take mime, go take vocals, do all the other things that you need to do to be an amazing performer. That's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to help you be a great performer. Number two, you're going to have more fun so that when you come into your season, you're already rolling. Everybody got that? All right, cool. Well, at CPW, we like to talk to people who are innovators. And I have to tell you, I have not had a chance to hang out with Parker Wright as much as I would like to, mainly because we're both always busy. But that being said, I've seen some of the things he's done, and I've met a lot of the people who have worked with him. And I will tell you three things about this man. Number one, he is talented. Doesn't matter which field you're talking about, whether as a performer, as a trainer, because he's working with all the musical groups and and talent that he works with. And then also as somebody who steps up in the Hollywood community to help make amazing events happen. This man has quality and he does it incredibly well. And so we're very honored to have Parker Wright in the house. Everybody
Thank
give him a
you.
round of applause.
Thank you very much. It's really great to hear.
So Parker,
Yeah.
explain what you do.
I think it's easier to explain what I don't do. No, so basically for the past 12 years, 2014 was when I first kind of got started in it, but it's kind of just been a continuation of doing the things that I love. Grew up in theater, grew up performing, singing, making character voices all throughout my life. And so when it came to working with and performing with other people, it was always a love of mine. And so then I worked for a lot of different companies, and I realized that there was a through line that kind of happened, and a lot of performers and entertainers weren't being taken care of in leadership roles. And so I felt like, hey, maybe I can do this better. And so that was when I created my company. It used to be Phoenix Wing Entertainment. We just rebranded this year to Totality Entertainment. And so that is to help mainly with the spelling. It was difficult to spell before, but also it just kind of, as we have expanded outside of our original offering, which was Jingle 5, and I'll kind of go into that, we now offer a lot of different things. So we have Jingle 5, which is carolers, and kind of all that we try to do is take what exists and change it a little bit to make it different, so that we're not directly like competing with everybody doing the same thing, but then also still offering what people expect. So Jingle 5 was our first offering. It's a contemporary caroling group. Instead of being Dickens carolers, we are more like a pentatonics type group where we have 4 singers and a beatboxer singing all throughout Southern California. And we actually expanded to Knoxville and Nashville this year. We were going to go to Vegas, but we ended up pulling back because we had too many what is it? Too many cooks or kettles on the oven, whatever the term is.
Right, irons in the fire.
Irons in the fire. Thank you. I was like losing that term there. So with that, we have Jingle 5. We have the Holly Bells, which is another singing group. And then that's a holiday trio. We have characters. So Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. We have Candy Cane Stiltwalkers, Sugar Plum Fairy, Drummer Boy and Ballerina character. And then we also have some giant snowflakes. Outside of that, we expanded to Halloween. So kind of did the same thing. We took a contemporary a cappella group that is Jingle 5 and made a Halloween version of it. They do Halloween songs. They're called the Deadbeats. We perform at Downtown Disney, or we're performing at Downtown Disney in Club 33 right now. And same thing as we added different characters. So we have Stiltwalkers, we have a Grim Reaper, a Scarecrow, a Witch, and then what else? A Witch, a Woodland Fairy, as well as, I'm like pulling it up because I get lost on them sometimes.
I've also dropped the links in the chat for those of you who are interested.
If Parker,
Vampire Couple and Dia de los Muertos Couple. So we basically tried to cover everything in totality for events. We also do photo booth offerings, so that way we can kind of pair all of those things together. And what we've been kind of building from that is, now that we have a whole package, have been building like tree lighting shows for people so that they can just be more of a one-stop shop. So it's been a lot of building over the years and just trying to make it as easy for our clients as possible.
now, one of the things that you said yesterday, which I'm sorry I didn't pick up on, was you said you are not an agent.
Mm-hmm.
So
all of these elements, I guess with the exception of only a couple things, but essentially all of our elements we create in-house. So Jingle 5, all the arrangements are created in-house, or we commission them out, but they don't exist anywhere else. All of those are our arrangements. Same with the Deadbeats. Phoenix is our pop version of the same thing. The only ones that are, I guess, close to an agency, but it's more of just we help our people book, is we have a jazz band, but that's one of our singers in our company said, hey, I have a jazz band. Can I go on your website or can I be on the website? And so we offer that. And then we do have some like a magician and a mermaid that we help them book stuff, but that is because they were already in the company. So we don't really book other people unless one of our existing clients is asking for something like with us on top of something else or needing our services. But generally speaking, we don't really agent out. A lot of the times I just recommend people. I try to help. If we don't offer something, then I'll help out where I can to just direct people to other people that offer what we don't. But yeah, we are not an agency.
And you're still performing yourself, right?
Yeah, it's a lot more few and far between now, because I'm usually running audio, or kind of managing the events, but I do also perform when needed, or sometimes it just makes sense for like budgeting purposes. If I can throw myself on a gig and ha cover two roles, it can help with budget stuff. So, but I don't perform as much as I used to, and I definitely miss it. But it's fun because I can throw myself in there whenever I want.
Yep. I worked with you at the Korean gig downtown. It was you had a couple of your
Oh,
performers there.
yep. Yeah. We had the performers, and then we did Jingle 5. That was a that was an interesting one for us to perform. It was like right after a DJ, Jingle 5 went out, and so it was there were so many moving parts to it, but that one was fun. Yeah, I
But
think that I've only seen you, like we haven't seen each other outside of either marketing events or on jobs.
yeah, but the fun thing about that was for those who weren't there. Um, First of all, Jingle 5 was awesome. They did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And you could definitely see Parker in the background, making everything connect and work and so on and so forth. But the other thing is he had some really beautiful costuming on some of the supporting characters he had brought in. I mean, just gorgeous elf costumes, kind of quasi Nutcracker elf, Sugar Plum
Hmm.
Fairy kind of characters, and they just looked beautiful. And the people as Santa Claus, I got a chance to interact with those characters, and they were wonderful to work with.
Thank you.
And of course, we both know Jen Kiersey, who many of you folks know, and Jen and Parker have known each other for 20 years now.
Uh, Not, well, I guess, no, not 20 years. It's been probably like 10 to 12 years. I would need to see like when we actually first interacted, but yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So you're dealing with all sorts of different clients, all sorts of different kinds of performers. You're trying to, figure out what your run of show is and inspire your clients,
Mhm.
to book you as much as you can. What are some of the biggest challenges you face?
Some of the biggest challenges I think are a as we have expanded, kind of the getting information to people is, I think, the difficult within the company is kind of the difficult part. As we expand, we get further and further away from those first year members, and so it's like making sure that we communicate those things to those people. But outside of
Are you talking about the performers or the clients?
Yeah, more so the performers. When
Oh,
it comes to dealing with clients, though, I would say it's just making sure that everything is in place and making it as easy on the client as possible. The difficulty can be if there's just the back and forth and kind of managing that back and forth with the clients. I think is one of the difficult parts, and so we've tried to streamline it to make the booking process as easy as possible, so that way we're not needing to do that much back and forth. Because that's the difficult part for me to manage is starting a conversation and then having to go back and then go send them an email, try and schedule things. So we've really streamlined the scheduling and the booking process over the years.
so let's talk about the client side of it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Um, in Hollywood, one of the things about Southern California in particular is everybody waits until the last damn minute to book anything.
Hmm.
Um, when you uh, when you get a call or a lead, and somebody says, "I'm interested in XYZ," is there a process you go through that kind of helps you figure out, is this somebody that we can work with? Is this somebody I'm going to try to expand their vision?
Mhm.
Do you have a process?
Yeah, typically I try to figure out where they're at and meet them where they're at. There's some clients that know exactly what they want and they come in saying, I want these characters for this time on this date. And then there's some clients that don't know what they want. And so it's kind of giving those recommendations to help them have that vision. Typically, like sometimes I'll have people ask for like, oh, we want to do a tree lighting event. And so I will show them whether it's on the phone or however we contact it. I'll be sure to show them and give them a good picture of what they're getting with each element. I think the difficult thing is, as performers especially, we feel like everybody knows everything about us. Like, oh, everybody knows what Jingle 5 is, but I think most of the people in this room have probably never heard of Jingle 5.
Right.
But to me, it feels like everybody would know just by me showing them a video or photo. And so that's been the biggest thing, is kind of making sure that they have all of the information so that they can work with that vision that they have for their event. But so with that, I have promo materials for everything. And so I will send them, like while I'm on the call with people, I'll send them the website and or send them like photos that we have, videos that we have. So then that way they can easily kind of understand what that vision is. Because as much as we explain things, it gets lost in translation. People have their own idea of what something is, and that's kind of the biggest thing, is making sure that the expectation is less than what reality is, rather than the other way around.
Just a side branch here. What are you doing in terms of marketing? What is your main way that you're finding your clients?
Right now, most of our clients have been either like repeat clients are a huge thing for us, and then referrals are great. But when I was first starting out, a lot of it was cold calling. Some of it is sending out mailers. What else? The biggest thing though is like Instagram, and our website is a form of marketing, of just making sure that we have everything up and that we're posting on our social media, so that way people, not even necessarily people, are going to come to our page and see it, but then when people are watching us perform, they can go to our page and see the things that we offer and see the quality that we offer. I call it basically having validators. You want, when people look you up, you don't want it to be a janky website from the from the 90s, and it's like with no photos, no videos, because people will click off and go to somebody else. And so I think the more that we make it look like we are super put together, the more trust we build with the client before even having that conversation with them. So that's kind of the main marketing, is just getting on Instagram, but a lot of it is honestly cold calling and trying to figure out where we could possibly perform.
Excellent.
You have two questions in the chat already. Earlier, when you were talking about Jingle 5, do you have more than 5 members in case you need to cover somebody?
Yeah. I responded to that, but I think it's a great thing to touch on. As of now, for Jingle 5, we're approximately, it depends on the vocal part, but we're approximately 8 deep. So we have 7 or 8 performers per role. So we
Wow.
have about 50-ish people for Jingle 5. And then for the Holly Bells, it's about 5 deep per role. And there's 3 of them, so 15 there. A lot of them cross-trained, though. That was kind of the biggest thing when we were adding things, is we wanted to make sure we weren't competing with ourselves. So we didn't want to add like a girl group that was a cappella. We wanted to make sure it was different. So that way it was just a different offering that we're giving.
So, and can
yeah.
Jingle 5 do three gigs at the same time?
Yeah, we the most we've done about like 6 gigs at the same time last year. It was very stressful. we had I have a video I could probably send you that was me showing like our whole company, like everything that was out that day, because I have a schedule through an app that I use for scheduling and communication with our people, and it took like 30 seconds of me just scrolling for, because each individual thing that was scheduled. We had about 6 Jingle 5 groups, I think one Holly Bells group, or one, maybe it was 2 performances, quite a few characters, 3 Santas out, and 3 photo booths with those Santas. So it was a very busy day. Yeah, we have a lot of coverage.
One of your next questions is, do you have clients that are only requesting Santa for Christmas events, or have they sometimes or always asked for Mrs. Claus? Do you have Mrs. Clauses?
We do have Mrs. Claus. It was something we just added last year, and so we only did like one Mrs. Claus offer last year, and it was only a couple days. So sometimes our clients do offer Mrs. Claus. Typically for us, it's around the events.
Mm.
We did do a book reading last year. That was fun. So Mrs. Claus read different Christmas books on different days for the kids, but usually for photo booth things, for us, it's just Santa Claus. I think budget is a big thing, and this year is definitely a very weird year. I'm sure you guys have been noticing it. I think virtually all of our clients have been bought out by a different company, so it's been a very
Oh,
interesting year going into it, of like different companies purchasing different places, and so yeah, we do offer both for that. And then it's what types of clients do I market in or target in my marketing. Um, a lot of what we have is like shopping centers, but we've done, and some of this is for Santa stuff, some of this is for Jingle 5, but I feel like a lot of it kind of crosses over, like places that would hire Jingle 5 would also hire would also hire Santas. Um, Shopping centers, country clubs. There's there's so many pockets, like hotels will sometimes do things. There's so many pockets of work, and that's kind of been my the way that I operate, is trying to operate in a sense of abundance. Of there's so much work out there, and there's so many people looking for good performers to get something done. It's just a matter of making sure that we find those people, because a lot of times it's harder for them to find us. But a lot of it is just kind of getting creative and then seeing what works, and what types of people are booking.
and can
So,
you recommend your scheduling app?
Yeah, so the scheduling app that I use, because there's a few different ones that we tried. Some that are out there. There's When I Work, that I've heard decent things. There is Homebase that I've also heard decent things. What I have landed on, and I like, but I wish they weren't as expensive. But if your company is less than 10 people, it's free, which is pretty great. They do you have to, like, it's freemium where you have to pay more, is Connect Team. So I've been using Connect Team for 3 years now, and that's been great for managing a lot of people. And it does get more expensive the more people you add, but I believe it's free under 10 people, and then it's only $40 a month under 30 people. So, and then after that, you have to pay like per person. So it's relatively affordable, but for us, I think we're at like 105 or 110 people in our app between all of our things, because we did also book this year as the vocal contractors for Universal Studios in the park. So that was a whole other ad where we added 10 more people from that. So yeah, it definitely raises with more people, but relatively speaking, I think it's like, for me, it costs like a little bit over 100 a month, but I'm only using it for 2 months. So it's like, hey, if I can schedule and have like a hub of information and connect with my team, message my entire team in one place for only a couple $100, then it's worth it for me.
so I'm going to change topics on you a little bit.
Yeah.
You hire and train and so on and so forth. This is going to be shared with a bunch of Christmas performers. And so, since you kind of grew up as a performer out here in SoCal, right?
Hmm.
Um, you know the kind of standards that we have to face out here sometimes. And there's a weird dichotomy between what the industry expects and what the variety agents expect. It's kind of
Hmm.
a, the princess parties versus, Universal,
Yeah.
so kind of different animals. What do you look for in a great Christmas performer? When you're looking to bring somebody on board, make them part of your team, what are you looking for?
Yeah. I mean, two of the biggest ones is or our experience. Have you worked for any of these bigger companies, though I do know people that are very experienced that have long resumes that aren't great, and I know some people that don't have experience that are amazing. So, but it is a factor, especially just the amount of work that goes into training somebody. I want somebody that kind of knows how to be a character without me needing to train them. We're just not there yet. I'm like, hopefully, at someday we can have more training. But with that, it's a lot of it is intuition and just getting the vibe of the person. With what we do, we're interacting with people all the time. So if I don't enjoy talking to them right out the gate, then it's probably not a good fit for characters. But if I do and they're fun to talk to, then it's going to be a bit easier for that sort of thing. So yeah, experience and general just how they're talking, but then also reliability is huge for me. So if people aren't responding to emails, aren't responding to texts, are saying like, "Oh, hey, sorry, I put in my schedule wrong." I used to be a bit more trying to get people to like, "Hey, please respond to this," but now it's just like they know if they're not responding to stuff, then they're just not going to work as much. And so the people that are super reliable are the ones that I am first to call all the time. I think that's probably one of the biggest factors is, are you responsive? Are you going to the gig? Or am I needing to chase after you, or are you following up with me to help make my life easier? And that, I think that also bridges to clients of that's what clients are looking for, is people that are reliable, people that they feel like, oh, this person has it, I don't need to worry about them. If you're not responding to emails, not responding to text, not like, oh, here's the invoice, and it's like a written note, or like a PDF of or something that like isn't easy for them, then they're gonna want to go somewhere else. Yeah.
So I imagine you have your share of horror stories, um,
Just a few.
or as we call it in the storytelling biz, hell gigs. Um, so you're oftentimes there's only one Parker, and it sounds like you have multiple groups out there doing multiple gigs.
Mhm.
So how do you deal with problem clients or problems on site if there's just one Parker?
Yeah, so we've kind of developed a little bit of a tiered system. So for Jingles 5 specifically, we have leads. So every gig, there's somebody that's running the gig. That's kind of the person that can make decisions on site without me. They're usually people that have been with the company the longest. Sometimes it's, though I've had people, like I have one person that's a lead and already kind of helping with management of the company that joined us last year, just because he's super positive, great to work with, super reliable, has that hunger of like wanting to help. So it's like, great, you want to help? Awesome, I will give you work. And so he's been helping a lot. But yeah, sorry, remind me of the question one more time. I got
Oh no,
sidetracked.
I was just, you can't be everywhere.
Oh yeah,
So
so
how are
we've built,
you?
yeah, we've built leads into our system, but then I also have a couple people that I've been training up for helping with management on the back end. Hey Jan, how's it going? And then we do have a person that we're trying out this year of having a what's it called? A person that's going to be managing communication for mainly just Saturdays and Sundays because those are crazy.
Mhm.
And last year for me, it's just gotten to the tipping point. And I think that's the big thing too, is just how quickly it gets more and more difficult. But with that, we're adding a person this year that's going to be just honest, looking through chats, making sure that there's no issues coming up and anticipating those issues and then communicating with me. But then also we have what's it called? Not SOPs. Well, we do have some SOPs, but things that help with different operations, so that way people have easy directions to the location, how to set up certain things, video and like written documentation of how to do certain things. So that way, most of the time, people can manage those things on their own. And I make sure I try to make it as easy on our performers as possible. So that way, I'm not getting those little tiny quick fixes needed of like, hey, where do we go on the gig? Where is everybody? Like, I've already given them the directions to the gig. So kind of front loading the work of making it as easy and seamless as possible for all parties is beneficial.
So I'm going to give you a magic wand. Here's your magic wand.
Thank you.
There you go. And if you could wave a magic wand and change something about working with the performers you work with, what would be the two or three things you would magically change?
Everybody's available all the time that I need them. Uh, Everybody shows up like to every rehearsal, and but like I get it's the gig economy, and so I understand that if people need other work, but yeah, everybody's available and everybody responds to every email and like message, so like super just reliable and there. And uh I would say that all yeah, I think the last thing would be everybody just being I guess it kind of ties into the other ones, but just being on time and being like reliable, and me not needing to like get people to do what a gig is and making sure they show up on time. I think that's the biggest thing, is just like being able to trust 100% that people will be there without me needing to double confirm and that sort of thing.
All right, so you still got that magic wand. You just took care of the performers, which, as we all agree, is herding cats.
Mhm.
Um, Now, clients, you get to wave your magic wand and change some things about the clients. What things would you change?
Budgets,
Oh yeah.
giant budgets all the time. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is just budgets, and also people prioritizing prioritizing quality over budget, I think would be a nice thing.
Oh
It is
God, yeah.
definitely difficult. We are in LA. There's a lot of people out there, and the client doesn't know what everybody is and what everybody does, and so that's the hard thing, is why would I pay you more than this other person, is what they're constantly battling with. I think ones that are seasoned though do recognize the difference between having a little bit more of a budget and what they get from it. But yeah, I would say budgets are probably the biggest thing.
This actually goes really neatly into a question that I was sent anonymously to ask you.
Yeah.
And that is, do you determine what the performers are paid, or do you let your performers set their price?
No, we determine what they're paid. Well, actually, no. There's two parts to that question. When we are bringing on a new element, so like when we brought on our stilt walkers, when we brought on Santa Claus, I make sure to do market research with the people that we have that I trust, but then also kind of knowing what the general market rate is, and we try to go a little bit above what the market rate is for what we pay our people. The reason being, partially, is I don't want to go into a market and undercut people. It might mean that we get more work, but then also I don't believe in the fight to the bottom. I think that we succeed as a community when we're all trying to get better wages. If we're all fighting against each other to get less and less wages, then the people that are giving the like the higher quality are going to have less work, and they're going to be leaving the scene, and then we're left with not as good entertainment, and then the companies will go, well, why would I pay more, because the entertainment isn't that great. So I think as we start charging more and more for entertainment, their standards also get higher, and that means they'll hopefully keep hiring us back as well. So yeah, with that, I do market research on the front end to figure out, because I also don't want to be fighting to like get people to work for us. I want people to want to come and work for us. So we try to pay a little bit more than what the market is. And then from that, we have then set the rate, and then we tell people that's what it is.
So, in terms of Christmas performers, is there is there how do you normally use them? Is it just mainly, photos with Santa, or do you actually have them performing, or what kind of things are the Christmas performers doing?
Yeah. So you mean for like the characters, the walk around
Yeah, for
characters, or
like
just
Santa or Mrs. Claus.
yeah.
You know.
Typically for us, it's been Santa is usually a photo booth operation, whether we bring the Santa for somebody else's photo booth or we run the photo booth as well. That's typically what we've been doing. But then for Performances, it's pretty much tree lightings is kind of the main push that we do.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not to say that there's other things that happen, but for Santa, it's tree lightings, and then we'll have kind of ongoing walk around characters, usually Friday, Saturday, Sundays, at locations, or sometimes just Saturdays, sometimes just Friday, Saturdays. Every client is different. But that's typically what we do is offer like weekend roaming atmospheric entertainment. But then the show element is having that tree lighting offering.
That reminds me, one of the things that happens to me a lot is I will run into caroling groups at parties.
Hmm.
You know, they booked a caroling group, and I think we've got about 20 here in SoCal,
That's
probably
quite a
more.
bit.
And I like to sing. I like to
Hmm.
go in there and jam with them and stuff like that. Do the caroling groups dislike it? Do they like it? What's their vibe on
Oh,
people singing with them?
yeah, no, I mean, I always love it. I think it's fun to have people sing, especially to have Santa sing. I think that's one of the cool things about what we do is we're performing around Christmas time, which is generally a very happy time, and it can kind of lift those spirits. So interacting with people and having that human connection is always a great thing. I would never have an issue with Santa singing. Now, if you like came in and took the mic from somebody and then just completely took over, then that might be a different thing. But just singing along,
No, I let Jen do that. I let Jen.
yeah, I think that's like always a fun thing to have is people singing along to what we're doing because then it also encourages other people to join in as well. And
Right.
that's one thing that we tell our performers is like when you're having fun, it's inviting people to have fun. If you're just singing up there
One of the
kind of
things
boring, it like
One
doesn't
of the
invite them
things
in.
that has surprised me is I have performance to do as well, and I'm storytelling and entertaining, and I have my run of show as a performer as well. And the carolers don't understand that I'm actually performing,
Hmm.
right? And so, now I'm going to do storytelling. Now I'm going to do, whatever the stuff I'm doing. And the carolers are over there, doing their show, and it's very hard for me to compete with them,
Yeah.
and the problem is the client doesn't know any better.
Hmm.
And oftentimes when I show up to a gig, I don't even know if, who's going to be there, what
Hmm.
other entertainment they've hired and so on and so forth. In a situation where you have a bunch of different kinds of elements coming in, how do you deal with that?
A lot of that is usually communicating with the client of so that we have a good idea of what is going to be happening that day. Typically, when we're booking with people, we'll try and gauge what type of event it is. Sometimes it's a house party, sometimes it's a general shopping center, sometimes it's a pop-up activation for a brand. There's so many different types of events, and so we'll go in and offer what we have based on what we feel is kind of the best fit. But sometimes it's a client that says, "Hey, I have 20 things happening, and we just want these characters." When that's happening, I kind of I'll check in with them and maybe make some suggestions for things. But if they have it all set, then usually we'll kind of know what's going on before that, um, and and it's also good to know whether we need to take a back seat or if we're kind of the front and center, like if we're atmospheric or if we're the main event. But typically that's pretty early on when we're negotiating with the client or kind of figuring out what they need. That's when we find out what type of event it is and the other people that will be there.
Well, I would love to ask if anyone else here listening has further questions. I have
I
one
did
set of
see,
questions that's been in chat, and that
yeah.
is how do you find corporate gigs? And are there any typical places to go to learn about who is seeking character work? Are there agencies? Are there any resource sites that put up posts? And what
Hmm.
can you recommend there?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a large question, I guess, of for corporate gigs, a lot of the time it's getting creative and trying to think of who might need it. But a lot of it, honestly, is cold calls, and with that, making sure that you have your promo stuff ready to go.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to hear performers. We have the benefit of because we've created a company and have so many different things to offer. It goes back to that kind of legitimizer or the thing that makes it seem more legitimate. It's going to be a harder sell to be a single Santa Claus calling saying, "Hey, do you need a Santa?" So with that, I mean, I think reaching out to, and I don't know much as much about the Santa scene. So correct me if if anything I say is like not a great thing, but I know that there's some agencies out there. I would reach out to your other Santas and see like the good agencies versus the ones not to work with, and send them your materials. Try to get them on the phone. Sending an email, a lot of times it goes to spam, especially if you have links. So just try to get somebody on the phone and get people to confirm that they received the email. Trying to figure out how to stand out. And I know that your question was how do you find corporate gigs, but it's also like how do you get them? Trying to figure out how to stand out and just really really being realistic too. Sometimes it's very apparent that the client does not want, or that corporate gig doesn't want to talk to you. And that's when you can move on, maybe send them a mailer. But having those promo materials ready just helps legitimize you and makes the client trust like, oh, this person does this. Like this is their thing. They're not just like stepping in and being like, hey, I'm Santa. There are sites out there, and I say this tentatively. I say this with a bit of hesitation. There's the Bash and Gig Salad. I don't like them. I feel like it goes to the fight to the bottom thing. It works great for some people, but most people are just trying to find this cheapest option. And so for us, we have not booked a single thing from there because everybody is trying to get the cheapest option. And there's so many things in LA, and they just push one button and it sends a message to all of the companies out there. And so for us, it doesn't really work. I think that for some people it can. But those are out there as well. Another thing that I've kind of been working on as well is on like Instagram or TikTok. If you're on any of these social medias, search up like Santa Claus work. Search up things, because then it'll start directing ad traffic towards you. And I've been getting ads for like seeking performers for this type of event, seeking vendors for this type of event, like this pop-up happening in. And that I kind of tested this year, and so now I'm getting ads for work, which is great. So, and then it'll kind of suggest people to follow. Sometimes I DM people. Yeah, I'm training the algorithm to work for me. And so that's been another thing as well. It's just honestly getting creative. There's so many different types of clients out there, and the corporate gigs are going to want something that they trust and something that's good. So making sure that your materials are great. If marketing materials isn't your forte, find people online that will do it. There's things like Fiverr that can be a gamble, but even just reaching out to your community, your Facebook community, there's going to be people that know how to do marketing well. And I think just being really, really critical with that, because that's what's going to make people trust you more than anything, is having those promo materials.
I'm curious how much time your overhead of admin takes. If you've got 100 people and you've got DMs in Instagram plus TikTok plus Facebook plus the website plus any website-based emails, that's got to be a huge time sink.
Yeah, it really is. A lot of that has been, so for social media, like I have one of our vocalists is a social media person, and so I pay her like a monthly fee, and she does our social media, and so she makes a calendar, and then I can make notes on that calendar, but I'm not needing to do all the work. It's like she'll make a calendar. I'll say, oh, cool, that's good. Let's get rid of this because I don't have the promo materials for it, or like switching stuff out. But then that way, those people are getting those things set. So the biggest thing for that, especially if you are running into that, I know everybody's in a different place, but if you're running into issues of management, of getting people to help, another big thing is a CRM. I guess this is a bit of a transition, but having a CRM, which is a client relationship management program, there's a bunch of them out there. I use Dubsado, which I think is a good one, and they've been getting better over the years, but I think that there's different ones out there. I use Dubsado. There's also Honeybook, but I've heard some mixed things about them. I think that they're okay. And then one that I've been hearing a lot is Check Cherry, that I'm actually looking into possibly doing just for my purposes. I'm a little bit limited with Dubsado. There's also big ones out there like Pipedrive and Salesforce, but those are very expensive and more on the corporate side, like corporations using them. But I think a huge thing is using a CRM, and I would look into it and figure out how to utilize it. You can send automations. Basically, I have every client, and I'll actually put a referral link, which I think gets you a discount as well. But with every client that comes in, I put them into that, and I'm able to see everything that I need. So I can send them an invoice, they get paid through that invoice, or they can pay directly through that invoice. It goes straight into my bank account. I can create forms, so like contracts and stuff. This is my, okay, let me add an HTTPS. You can create forms and like contracts with that to basically make it all in one. And this is basically what I do with a lot of my clients. If they've given me the time and the date and what they want, I say, okay, here's the promo stuff. Like, so here's Jingle 5, here's what they do with a video link, here's their website, and this is when they'll be performing. Here's the agreement, here's the invoice. And then I have like a client intake form, which is basically, here's all the information we need for the day of performing, which is like, who's the contact, where we need to go, any parking information. So it's all done immediately in one place. And that also helps the client go, oh, they're on it. Great. I'm just going to book them. Easy, done, moving on. The less they have to work, the easier it is for them to make the decision on you. And so a CRM is huge. I also use an app called Notion, which is great for like note taking. And that has some AI capabilities. There's other ones out there like ClickUp and Obsidian, but I would say ClickUp is probably a little bit more user friendly. And I know everybody's in a different place of like technological abilities, but having that CRM and having some kind of hub of information and hub of like files can be really beneficial. So I'll use Google Drive for agent friendly files. That's a big thing too, is like if you are working with an agent and you have promo materials, have a video that doesn't have your name and doesn't have any identifiers on it, because then those agents will take that and kind of sell you to wherever they need to.
Oh, so have marketing that is specific, generic, that they can use.
Agent friendly, that is a downloadable link, not YouTube. So like I have agent friendly promos. So anytime an agent asks for stuff, I just have a link that I send them. And so it has photos, videos. Again, making it as easy as possible is the way that we've kind of found works well for booking. Google Drive works well for that.
I'm going to pry you away from the tech for a second.
Yeah.
So let's say I show up to a gig, you're there, you have what you've been assigned to do by the client. I'm there, didn't know you were there. We're going to walk up and introduce each other. I've got the things I've been asked to do. I'm going to assume, simply because, you know, you're probably handling a bunch of different things, that I need to fit into your schedule probably more than you need to fit into mine. But that being said, everybody who's at that gig is going to have their points that they're supposed to hit that they've been hired to do. What's the best way to work with somebody with you? We've just had a chance to talk. It's ongoing. We're hitting the ground running. What's the best way to interface?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just talking, meeting, introducing each other. I guess it depends on kind of what the context is. If it's on set, obviously doing it in character. But sometimes the clients will book things that conflict, and we kind of need to figure that out. I have found the easiest way is to lead with being helpful and lead with being kind and defaulting to the other person and staying humble. Because I do a lot of audio stuff as well, and I don't want to get on too much of a tangent, but there's kind of two ways it can go about. You can come in being like, well, this is what I need to do. And then you just create that immediate tension, and both people are going to get defensive and be like, well, this is what I need. This is what I need. But if you immediately lead in with like, hey, introducing yourself, I'm doing these sets at this time. Is there anything that you need from me? Do you need me to move out of the way? And you'll kind of get a gauge. Sometimes people will use that and be like, oh yeah, actually, if you can move to the side. And that's when you can kind of step up and and get a bit more holding your own. But I try to lead with offering what I can do to help that other person, and then usually the response is that they will do the same, and that
So
tends to work well. It just kind of lowers the any tension that might be there.
let me give you an example of where I've run into problems before, and that
Yeah.
is let's say a group is there. I don't know if they've been hired to put on a show or if they've been put on to do atmospherics, strolling
Mm-hmm.
entertainment.
Yeah.
And so I want to do what I can to support them, but what's the best way to interface this?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, if there is a way to meet off stage of asking them what if they're performing, if they are performing, like just asking them straight up, oh, are you performing or is on as a show or is it atmosphere? I just want to make sure that I don't like step on your toes or I don't want to get in the way. And usually they'll just let you know, yeah, I'm roaming around. I'll be in this area. So and then also communicating what you need of if you are a Santa and you do need to be talking to people and be able to be heard if there is a show, it can be something that you tell them like, oh, I'm a little bit close to the stage, is there any way that you guys can have the volume a little bit lower? If not, I'll see what I can do. Or maybe it's something talking to the client. I have had some tension before where we're performing and then a Santa tells the client, and now the client is telling us to turn down the volume, and it's like this weird thing. But I think the biggest thing is just bridging that communication, because most people are going to be have their guard down a lot more if you talk face to face. But hopefully with that of getting that information up front, trying to ask the client what type of event this is there going to be any atmosphere or entertainment, is there going to be performers, that way I know how to work around it. Because as at least for me, the more I've done this, the more I know how to address certain situations, and the more I know how to inform the client of how to address certain situations. Because a lot of times they just want to put on an event, they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know how to avoid those things. So the more we can ask them what's happening, oh, let's make sure. Sometimes it can be difficult to hear. Is there any way that Santa can be placed over here, away from the performers? And that just goes back to the validation thing of now the client goes, oh, they know what they're doing. They've seen these situations before, and just doing it in a professional, nice way, and also as a request, not like, "Hey, I need this to happen."
So we're
Is what's
we're
beneficial.
winding up here.
Yeah,
We know how busy you are.
you're good.
So two quick questions. What is a question that we should be asking you? Is question number one. And question number two, if there was something that you would like from the Christmas community that would help somebody who does what you do, what would that be?
Those are both tricky questions. What should the first one was what should you be asking me?
What question should I be asking you?
Um, oh man, I don't know. Yeah, that's a really tricky one. I'll have to think on it for a second. Let's go
That's
to the
okay.
second
He
one, and I'll.
asks us that kind of question all the time. So not the
Uh,
first person he sprung that on, Parker.
you're good. You're good. What was the second one again?
The second one is what can we, the Christmas community, do to help people who do what you do?
I think that it goes back to kind of what I've been saying is really I think as a community, the more we can focus on quality and the more we can focus on not trying to undercut each other, and trying to make the expectation of having larger budgets, I think it helps everybody.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think just really focusing on helping each other out, but then really just making sure that we're not just trying to get the gig no matter what cost, because it just hurts everybody. Um, a lot of times if people are booking for a cheaper rate than like what the going rate is, then the client has now made that expectation. And if typically too, it'll be like newer person or somebody that's not as experienced. And so now if that person doesn't do what the client was expecting, let's say they're $500 and there's another person that's saying $800, it's the client has now like experienced that lower quality person, and it's going to be really hard for them to go, well, I'm not going to pay $800 for this, but they don't recognize that they can get this if they just pay a little bit more, they're just going to know, oh, this is what I got. I'm not going to pay that much for this thing. And so it can be a lot harder to kind of convince the client to do that. But if we have great people that are charging a little bit more and the client is super happy and it was easy and it was within budget and nothing went wrong and everything went smooth, then maybe they'll increase the budget because they're like, wow, that went super great and smooth. So if you are going to do like lower paying gigs, I would say do things for people that you know, people that you care about, nonprofits. But then once you get into the corporate and the higher end gigs, like really making sure, reach out to other people, see kind of what the going rates are for different things, and just try not to undercut. That's I think my biggest thing for us is it's really hard to compete with people that are undercutting each other. And I just think it will help us all lift the overall quality of performing and then also lift the expectation of the clients and hopefully their budgets as well.
All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and wind this up. Do you have any other questions you want to ask the amazing Parker Wright? Jen, did you have a question for the amazing Parker Wright?
We talk all the time.
Okay.
Well, if anybody does have any questions, feel free to reach.
I couldn't figure out how to turn my camera off.
Feel free to reach out to me. You can email me. My email's hi Jen. Email's parkerw@totalityentertainment.com. Feel free to email me. Introduce yourself. I am always one that tries to help because again, I think that rising tides raise all ships, and the more we can help each other get to a good place, the more we can continue to grow as a community.
Well, on behalf of Christmas Performer Workshops, if there's anything we can do to help you, in terms of we've got tons of great training and resources and connections. And one thing I can say about CPW is we are nationwide. And so we have connections everywhere in terms of holiday performing. So if there's anything we can do, if you're looking for a resource, don't hesitate to reach out. We're glad to help.
Definitely. I'm like, right now in Nashville, Knoxville, we're just doing Jingle 5, but I'm like, we might be chatting in future years to try and get that going with characters.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to go ahead and wind this up. It's time. On behalf of Christmas Performer Workshops, we want to give a huge thank you for Parker Wright for taking the time and giving us a glimpse behind the curtains.
Thank you.
It is the wizard. Honestly, it is the wizard. And Parker, I hope I get to see you out during our season. We get to run into each other and I get to see you perform. You get to see me perform.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we'll just do a dinner in January.
yeah, let's do this.
Right.
Absolutely. Let me take you to dinner in January.
If you guys come see the show at Universal, the singing group in the park is us as well. So I'm like, if you happen to go to Universal, that'll be a fun thing. So after January 4th for me, typically I'm done on Christmas Eve, but now it's January 4th because of Grinchmas. So we'll chat then. We'll have dinner then.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Let's go ahead and wind this up. Everybody unmute yourself. All right. I say Merry, you say Christmas. Merry.
Christmas.
Merry.
Christmas.
I say jingle, you say bells. Jingle.
Bells.
Jingle.
Bells.
Making magic happen.
Making magic
happen.
We bring the jolly.
We
bring the
jolly.
jolly.
We see, we hear, we bring the love throughout the year.
We
We
see,
hear,
we
bring the
bring
love.
the love
throughout the year.
I'm so proud of you all. The next Zoom we're going to be is our very popular 2025 Christmas cheat sheet and final polishing and performing practice. That's going to be happening next month. You don't want to miss it. It's got all that lovely stuff that you can use to build your characters and use during your season. So you absolutely want to make certain you get a chance to jump in on that. And again, we want to give a round of applause to all the claws and elves and say thank you all so much for being part of CPW. Ho, ho, ho. We've got to go.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Parker.
Thank you.